Kids Play Sly.
Welcome back, everybody. We just talked about some of the grossest stuff ever in history, like how people didn't bathe, how there was stuff and food and trash all over the floor. And
Don't forget about being a gong farmer, where you farmed poop.
Where you farm poop, I guess.
That was one of my favorites.
And now we've decided to move on, sort of.
You want to move on from the grossness, and I challenge you to find some history facts that aren't a little bit icky.
I know you're a little squeamish about going to the doctor.
I don't like the doctor at all. Their instruments are so cold.
That is true, but you wouldn't have wanted to go to the doctor way back in medieval times or in some other parts of history.
You know, but if they didn't have like cold metal instruments, I don't think it would be that bad. Like if you had like a headache, they just kind of they rubbed your head, right?
Ooh, no. Actually, some people, they drilled a hole in your skull.
What?
To relieve your headache. They thought it released kind of all the evil spirits. And then actually people used to wear their little skull chip as maybe a little necklace or a piece of jewelry.
Wait. You drilled a hole in your head to relieve a headache. Doesn't that just sound like that would give you the world's worst headache?
It does, but you know what? For some people, I think it worked. Probably for some people, it didn't work so well.
That sounds like the most horrible thing ever. Does it get worse than that?
Oh, it does. Have you ever heard of a process called bloodletting?
Is that where they suck you with a needle and then I don't know what the letting would mean though.
So for a long time, throughout different periods in history, people used leeches. You'd go and you'd collect all these leeches from ponds and swamps and stuff.
Like the little blood-sucking worm type thing?
Yep, those little fat wormy guys who they drink blood, as that's what they do. And people thought that, when you were sick, a part of the problem was in your blood. So to remove that problem, they would take little leeches and put them all over your body and let them suck the blood out of you.
That sounds like a nightmare to me. That, the insect thing or the worm thing, the blood thing, being it sounds like something like a medieval torture method, but they did this to heal people. How many leeches did they put on you?
Well, it depended. I don't know how many exactly they put on you. But in the 1800s, France actually imported more than 40 million leeches for healing.
So they brought into their country willingly.
40 million leeches.
Oh gosh, Kate, if you thought that my smelly history segment was bad, I feel like the bad medicine is a little bit worse.
Yeah, imagine those little guys munching on you for a couple hours. And
is that the only, please tell me that's the only purpose they use insects and bugs for healing stuff.
Oh no, don't you worry. In ancient Egypt, they actually used honey or animal brains, and a little bit of poop, for to cure an eye infection. They made it into a little ointment to cover your eye.
Again, I'm finding this really counterintuitive. So to get rid of a headache, you basically drilled a hole in someone's head. That would not solve it. And to get rid of an infection, you put animal poop and animal brains in your eye. Doesn't sound like it's going to end well.
Becky, today we have the advantages of modern science, but back then they were just kind of still figuring it out.
So basically what you're telling me is if I got an eye infection in ancient Egypt, I was just going to lose an eye. It was a done deal.
Well, you might, because putting animal poop on your eyeball is never a good idea. But today we know that honey has antibacterial properties, so that actually really might have helped them.
I don't know, Kate. I would rather take my chances with the eye infection than putting that concoction on there. But I guess to each his own.
But you know what else was probably even grosser than that?
How could this even get worse?
Well, in 16th century Europe, they would actually, if you got a cut and there was an infection in it, they would cram it full of maggots. Do you know what those are, Becky?
I am afraid to ask. It does not sound good. It sounds like an insect, to be honest.
It's fly larvae.
Oh.
Fly babies.
Oh, no.
And they would actually eat away at the infection. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
This segment should be done. I don't know if I can take anymore.
You know what? I'm thinking about it a little bit more, and I think it's really gross, too.
Well, why don't we take a quick break? Because when we come back on the show, Kate, I have a huge surprise for you.
Oh my gosh, what?
Are you ready? You might want to sit down.
Okay, I'm sitting. I'm ready.
The Weird But True Show. We have a fan! What? We have one fan.
Oh my gosh!
And he's here in the studio today.
One fan is so much better than 0 fans.
I know. We've been waiting for this one fan for so long. His name is Declan, and he's going to come on our show right after this, and we're going to talk about weird but true food history, and we're going to play a little game. So DJ, why don't you cue up some music, and we'll get everything ready to go here in the studio. We'll be right back.
Did you brush your teeth?